Are you thinking about getting yourself a pet, especially a dog? And are you confused what breed is right for you? Then we are going to answer your question because Sam is here with our possum friends who are once again up to. क्या कह रहे हो तुम दुनिया?
Mischief कर रहे हैं. You're just being a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Sorry, I'm very sorry, Dunya. So once again, our possum friends Dunya is also with us, and we are going to tell you if you are thinking about buying a dog or adopting a dog, what is the breed that's going to be perfect for you and your lifestyle. Dunya, please give us some space. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, see, these are the things which matter, because people think that, oh, let me get a dog, golden retriever looks good. Everybody says Labrador is the best breed because they're, calm. So, how do I decide what do I need and how should I choose my dog?
It's a colored question. You bring in the most popular breeds, and in the question lies the answer. Most of the people, especially in countries such as ours, where international breeds are quite a rarity, other than blue blood and royalty, who's always been exposed to a lot of international breeds. We Indians, we're not the biggest dog keepers, and we just have a few indigenous breeds. So our exposure to international breeds has always been colored by virtue of what we understand or what we've been given to understand. The reality of the matter is most people don't research that why a certain breed was brought into the world, what was the purpose for it, right? So it is extremely important.
So these breeds are all made.
Even if they were, natural breeds and have been existing for several hundred or thousand years, they were all bred to a purpose.
Okay.
And that understanding that purpose is pivotal to, including that animal into your family. That's not your call, sorry. So it is extremely important for people to research the purpose for which a breed was developed. What was the rationale behind it?
For example, what breed is this?
That is a boxer.
Okay. And what purpose does it serve?
So boxers, were not really driven for a purpose other than, it is not the kind of sport for which they were developed. They were developed for bull baiting. Essentially, they would, they were developed as a breed wherein they would, so just so that, you can see how their jaws are structured. Their jaws are structured wherein there is an undershot. They have a George Clooney bite, right? Now,
Undershot.
yes, and that also means that they can never bite anybody. Which means there'll never be a scissor bite. So even if they try to clutch you, they can at best hold you.
Okay.
Right? Now the purpose for this was that you just feel very invaded. Just give me a second. Thank you. Thank you and no thank you. Thank you. No. So yeah. So they were developed for bull baiting. Essentially, if there was a bull that needed to be caught, they should be in a position to latch onto their neck. Without hurting the bull, they should be in a position to stop it. So it was meant to be a very strong breed. However, this was yesteryears. This was not, how the present boxer is manifested. Just to answer the breed question, they are now essentially, couch potatoes. They're short-nosed breeds, as a result of which have slightly lesser exercise requirements. They're very well adapted to live in very cold and very hot weather because of their short coat, short skin. So as a result of which they don't shed a lot. I would call them urban dwellers today. But they were developed from a multitude of breeds and they were originated in Germany in 1905. The lady who developed this breed was Fru Stockmann, and over a period of time the American boxer and the European boxer have grown into very different directions. So again,
and
he is an American type boxer. In India, we started off with having...
Okay, I think we've become too much focused on boxers. Let's first try and categorize the need and the kind of breed that could be suitable for it. And when I say kind of breed, I don't mean a specific breed, but these are the types of breeds which would be suitable for these breeds. So let's start with that.
So I think the best way to classify is either how the AKC, which is the American Kennel Club, classifies, or FCI, which is the Federation Cyno-Technique, the international, how they classify dogs. So general classification would be by virtue of groups: sporting dogs, herding dogs, toy dogs, terrier dogs, working dogs. Generally, that is how.
None of the classification says home pets.
So, but then there will always be animals here, which are very, very fit for urban living. But again, with their own quirks and their own. Like for example, I'll give you some examples which people wouldn't be aware of. Like people get beagles thinking they are small and sweet breeds, but they were truffle hunters.
Hounds.
Yes, they're hounds and they were truffle hunters. Now see, there are also two. Think of a bloodhound. A bloodhound was, specifically developed for policing work, right? However, that meant that you were searching humans who could not traverse hundreds and hundreds of kilometers, right? However, truffles in a large acreage of land, a
In a
dog,
forest.
yes, in a forest area, could be expected to run kilometers at the end of the day.
And then dig it out of
Dig it out.
centimeters
And so that also means
dirt.
fortitude.
Yeah.
That also means fortitude, Anjali, which means that if he's found a scent of something, then he needs to go out and search for it. And to that extent, that,
Fortitude or obsessiveness?
whichever way you look at it, I would look at it as a dog person. I would say fortitude. However, in a household,
In a household setup,
yes,
it
yes,
becomes-
then that also means that the dog is purpose-driven machine. People don't understand that, and when they don't get to do their what they were bred to do genetically, they will they will not like the environment they're in, and hence will rebel, and then you'll see the howling hound, right? The problem of every beagle.
Oh, so beagles are howling because they are
Yes,
not
because
able to
yes.
do what they're bred.
See, you have to understand. Think of it like this: if a well-bred German Shepherd is left in a pastoral land where there are sheep, goat, other livestock, very quickly they will understand that they need to herd animals. It's very surprising. You might think that your German Shepherd staying in an apartment here in Delhi or Bangalore, is
People think it's a guard dog.
yes, it isn't. Guarding was just one part of it. That is why a German Shepherd's exercise requirements are through the roof, because it needs to sort of herd animals throughout the day, right? So then you have to also match temperature, your ambient temperature, the temperature at which your house is, the kind of breed that you're getting. So there are a lot of things. Most people, like you brought up the Labrador, which I think is one of the most largely misunderstood dogs, and I would like to.
It's the most commonly adopted or
Yes.
commonly bought
Yeah.
breed in
Great
India.
dog, absolutely great dog, but
Because of their temperament, yeah.
yeah, but then also what people do not realize is they think they look like cuddled potatoes and do not have exercise requirements. Labradors have some of the most stringent exercise requirements because they were developed in a place called Labrador in Canada. They have a double coat. They are absolutely adept to be in extremely freezing temperatures also. And what was their activity? People just call them the Labrador, but the name is Labrador Retriever. So the activity is to go and retrieve. For example, you've killed again, this is yesteryears and nobody.
You go for game, you shoot it
Yeah,
up.
but again, I need to clarify. I was clarifying something. So what I'm clarifying.
It's that time.
Yes, so
Yesterday.
we don't stand by it, but you have to understand that the Labrador of 100 years from today, might just phenotypically, from the physical nature of it, may look slightly cobbier, broader. But again, the breeding purpose and the breeding selection of the gene pool has happened on the basis of what they're good at. So their ancestors, you'd shoot a pigeon, they would go in 12, 13, 15 kilometers in a certain direction, then scout the entire area, retrieve the kill and bring it back. Now that kind of an exercising requirement, it's crazy. Then people don't realize Labradors shed a lot, something that they don't see. They think they're short coat dogs. No.
You cannot keep your Labrador like this
Yep.
on a couch without anything on top.
No, you can, provided you can live with their hair on your clothes. It's to each his own. There's nothing right or wrong.
Yes, if you don't have problem with the
Yes.
hair everywhere, then
Yes,
it's
or
fine.
if for example, even if talking of a sofa, if you're going to build a lifestyle around a Labrador, then you'll probably have leatherite or something like that, which is easier to clean. But the reality of the matter is, they've got a double coat. It's like this. It is virtually impermeable. So when you give them a shower, it's not an easy dog to shower. But again, you'll see Labrador smelling the most. If you ever take your nose up close to an unknown Labrador, you'll be surprised at the stench that they carry, for the simple reason that the essential oils are all locked in, which is great for their skin. But again, for human cohabitation sometimes can be difficult. Nothing right or wrong, but again, you need to understand purpose and then go and figure out manner.
So, Samrit, the purpose in our urban home is never anything other than just get love from them.
Yeah.
And maybe to a certain extent in some homes, a little bit of guarding and a deterrent for any kind of a robbery or any kind of antisocial element coming into your home. Now, that seems like most of the dogs
I would, as much as, this is true, but there are two kinds of households and there are two kinds of dogs. There are one kind of dogs where the dogs protect the house, and there are dogs where, the house protects the dog. And neither of which is right or wrong. For example, you have a space wherein, for example, you live in a condominium, you have no security needs, you don't want a dog which barks. You could look at one of the toy breeds which is not snappy. You could look at a
Like
Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu.
Yeah, you could be looking at, more gentler dogs like a golden retriever, but then grooming requirements would be higher in a larger sized dog. You could certainly get a French bulldog. You'll just need to take care of their deworming needs because they're certainly specific. They're also short nosed, so you'll have to temperature maintain the house to a certain extent. Doesn't mean you have to keep
What
the air
about the
conditioned.
popular breed nowadays?
Which is?
Noodle.
Oh, the Labrador.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they essentially present an exceptionally strong gene pool for the simple reason that it's a crossbreed between Labradors and poodles, and to that extent there's a lot of genetic diversity which comes in. So you'll not really find a lot of congenital diseases in those dogs, but they could be very timid dogs, or they could sometimes turn out to be slightly aggressive because there's no predictability to the gene pool also. So when that genetic diversity comes together, behaviorally what comes out is also like a potluck. So you go along and figure it out. But the great advantage of having something like a Labradoodle or a poodle is these are hypoallergenic dogs, which means that there is no hair shedding, and children who are allergic can certainly in an urban environment cohabitate.
You know what this makes me think is that we should somewhere in the future do each breed as a separate video.
Most certainly.
Yeah, because this is a vast topic. I mean, as
Absolutely.
I talk to you,
Yeah.
I realize that it's not going to be possible for us to
Yeah,
cover
that
the
is,
entire gamut
that is why
in
the
this
answer is
one.
subjective. However, my standalone request to any of your viewers who are considering getting a dog or adding another dog to their family would just be to try and marry what your lifestyle is. So you're right, maybe in an urban household we don't really have needs, right? To which a dog can cater needs, like for example, herding, guarding, sporting, nothing of that sort. However, if you have a certain breed in mind, do two things. Research what the breed characteristics are and try to match those with your lifestyle. See if that is a marriage. And don't cherry pick what works for you. Very happy, a dog which has a pleasing nature will go out of the way to please the master. But then also try to read between the lines that the breed standard says, and I mean read the breed standard. Please don't read jargon which is given at the on the internet. So there are breed standards. The Kennel Club of India, the American Kennel Club, all popular kennel clubs across the world have a breed standard written. Just spend 8 to 10 minutes reading those 2 pages. They will describe so much about the inherent breed characteristic, and try to read between the lines. If it's a people-pleasing dog, then that is also a clingy dog, right?
Yes.
Now that also means if you intend to work and leave the dog home for 3 to 4 or 5 or 7 hours, would that dog be in a position to live in that scenario? There will be dogs who will do better than the others in such environments. Though I do not recommend that for any dog. If you don't have time, don't get a dog. If you don't have resources, please don't get an animal. But what I'm trying to say is, try to marry those, read the breed standard. That's point number 1. And point number 2, Anjali, which I think would be my closing, thought on this is, especially in a country like India, the point that I was making, because these breeds are so new to us, we're very enamored, right? So we go out and get ourselves, very, very rare,
Oh,
breeds.
like the Saint Bernards.
The
of
Saint
in
Bernards
Delhi
20 years ago, or the
Huskies.
So it's not only about the Huskies or the Alaskan Malamutes or Siberian Saint Bernards. Sit down. Okay? Sit down. Good boy. Good boy. Shake it. Please.
He's too scared right now. Oh.
Good. Good. Come. Come. Sit down. Sit down.
Yes, so the exotic breeds. Huh?
Yeah, it's not about exotic breeds. You have to understand what has been the gene pool, who has been breeding those animals. A lot of the small breeds also, the today's fashionable, the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, for example. It's a beautiful breed. The Maltese.
Yeah, the Maltese.
The Maltese,
Are people buying Maltese in India?
Maltipoos are also a very big thing today. The problem is, I know so many people, I don't want to name them, that would also be incorrect, but they've gotten, a breeding pair from a pet shop in Bangkok for, 2,000 bahts, 5,000 rupee dogs with no genetic history. They're carrying parvovirus, they're carrying congenital heart diseases. They've just been brought in from 3rd grade breeders, and they've just been used like a puppy mill. Now when the puppy, unfortunately for us, a lot of these people, very skilled artisans, what they'll do is from extremely bad gene pool, they will produce a pretty looking child, would clean it up, make it nice and fluffy and very, very fragrant, and would go and deliver. But you don't know what is coming. Yes. Puppies, any form of life in its childhood is extremely beautiful. Every life is beautiful, at every age it is. But children have this characteristic about them. How are you drawn to any child? You see them in a mall, in the market.
You can't walk past a puppy, you can't walk past a
So child,
they're all cute.
right? And those breeders are essentially selling cute to you. So what I was trying to get at is, in India there is a very bad practice, and that is a buyer's market. Buyers are enamored by the new fad. 25 years ago,
Yes.
when it was Hutch, People wanted the pug.
Everybody wanted a pug.
Yes, and when
Before that, it was Spitz.
Yes, it was Spitz. If it was Bol Rada Bol, there was the Black Labrador. If it was Jaggu Dada's Doberman, then everybody wanted a Doberman. Yes, then when Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara happened, we saw a slew of bull mastiffs all across, irrespective of the fact whether people can live with them or not. So the reality of the matter is, do not follow a fact. I'll just give you a very small example. The other day, somebody gave me a call and said, "Sir, I need a Labrador." I said, "I don't breed Labradors, but I know several outstanding, very senior breeders in the country. I'll ask them." I sought, information from a few breeders, and yes, one of them had puppies and had one male puppy to offer, a beautiful puppy from excellent lineage, and was very reasonably priced. I spoke to this individual and I said that this is the price he's offering, and if it works out, I can vouch for this individual. Please transfer the money and they'll get the puppy delivered to your house. And they're absolutely welcoming of you to go and visit the parents also if you wish to. He said, no, if you've seen it, it's all good. How much is it for? I told him whatever it was. And it was a very nominal price, Anjali. It would be probably the price of 6 people going out for a dinner to a decent restaurant. Okay? And they turn around and had the audacity to tell me, Labradors are the most common breed. We know so many pet shops, in different corners of Delhi which will sell us one for 5,000 to 10,000 rupees. I was like, do you realize the cost of dog food? One bag, a 20 kg bag of dog food will not come for 8,000 rupees.
And you intend to buy live.
No, and the rationale is that they are popular. What they are not understanding is great parentage of a very common dog like a Labrador, a Boxer, a Golden Retriever will cost you way more than an exotic breed which comes with no lineage. Because somebody is putting in time, money, efforts and ethics to make sure a bitch is not bred more than twice or thrice in her lifetime. And are collating some of the top gene pools in the world to deliver that puppy to you, but you decide to measure it in popularity. This is popular, hence it is common, hence it should be cheaper. And that is the weirdest logic.
But also, it's a flawed logic because you are taking on a responsibility and an expense for that individual's lifetime and at least 10 years for you. So I mean, counting rupees at that point of time is so
I
counterproductive.
I understand that we're a socialistic country. I understand everybody does not have the same means, Anjali. But what I'm saying is, for people, if you were to ask, say, 80,000 rupees for an Alaskan Malamute, a Belgian Malinois, a Maltese, right? People would say, yeah, this is a rare breed, a Labradoodle, like you said, the fat. You say, this
but you're saying they won't give it for a Labrador.
They wouldn't. And the Labrador's father is a grand champion in 8 countries, has produced over 80 champions, has children in 5 continents, all of which are champions and great producers themselves, have been fully genetically tested for elbows, heart, hips. They've been tested for everything. There is no recessive gene that they are carrying which is getting passed on to their children. And they would expect that to be 15 or 20,000 rupees because it's a common breed. Okay. That is where
I think now we're sort of getting into a rant zone. We will do a rant video separately because that will be also interesting. But I think we should conclude this video here. It's quite interesting how Sam has tried to explain to us that we need to understand what our need and purpose is and then get ourselves a dog and put a little bit of time in researching all the breeds that are top of your mind and figure out what you need. So, can you once again list the source you were saying where we can find out the information?
I think, though we have a website for the Kennel Club of India as well, which is fairly good. As a ready reckoning resource, I would say just go to the American Kennel Club's website. The American Kennel Club's website will have breed standards for each breed. So, for example, you shortlisted 2, 3 or 4 breeds after discussing with your friends, researching the internet, go and read the breed standard. Don't listen to hearsay, forums, what people are saying, what people on Facebook are saying. Go and read the breed standard, because they're not only the look. Most people confuse the breed standard to be a blueprint or template of how a dog should look like, but what they don't realize is their temperament, their what standout features are expected out of that breed. Everything is laid out. So if you were to read about a boxer, I think it's the most beautiful description of a boxer that can be written.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So understood. So now you know where to do your research. So do not be lazy. Go ahead and do it. And we will be coming back to you with more videos about each specific breed that are commonly available in India and are popular in India, and we will tell you their type, and as he says, what phenotype?
Phenotype, yes.
Type, phenotype.
Phenotype and genotype. Two words.
Behavior, their characteristics, and why they are suited for a certain kind of an individual. And it's a bye here from my side.
Bye from me and Dunya.
Yeah, bye.
Which